Welcome. Story 1. A little backstory. I'm the youngest of 4. As I've grown up, I've always felt like my oldest sister, 30, never liked me, which upsets me because we do have a lot in common. When I reached my teen years, she had already moved out. When she had her first baby, it was also then I started finding my individuality, that is punk clothing, dark makeup, heavy metal, etc. These are all things she liked when she was my age too. We have other sisters, but she never treats them coldly. Growing up, we were all treated fairly by our parents and were disciplined all the same. She often says she was the one who had to parent us, but that isn't true. Even though our parents divorced, they were still there for us. Reaching 21 is considered a big deal. So when my sisters had their 21st birthdays, they were thrown big parties and generally had a great time. It made me excited for my own 21st birthday. By this time, my older sister has had 4 children, nieces and nephews that I absolutely adore. But my other sisters were beginning to feel like she was doing it for some kind of approval from our parents. She also lived in a 2-bedroom house, which is pretty small for 6 people. And it didn't seem like she looked after her kids well because they always looked unhappy. She always coincidentally announced her pregnancies during big events in my life. That is award ceremonies, my 16th, getting accepted into performing arts schools, etc. Well, one day, whilst preparing a couple weeks in advance for my 21st, one of my other sisters called me to tell me that the oldest was pregnant again, but she hadn't told everyone yet. I was happy to get another niece or nephew, but I felt my stomach drop. I knew what was going to happen, and sure enough, it did. My birthday came. As the cake was being brought out and after I blew out the candles, I hadn't even cut the cake yet when she decided to announce her 5th pregnancy. I was devastated. Aunts and uncles flocked to her, giving her congratulations, while some of my sisters were annoyed she did that. My parents felt awkward, but they went along with it because they didn't want the eldest to feel bad. But I lost it. Years of feeling pushed aside made me crumble. All my sisters had great 21st birthdays, and deep down I knew it was wishful thinking, hoping that mine would be the same. I yelled at my eldest, asking her why she always did this. She looked at me confused. Then immediately, her lips started quivering, indicating she was about to cry. My sisters were on my side, but everyone else says I was unfair and ruined the whole day. Am I the a-hole? Edit. So that people are aware, my sisters want her not to announce it on my birthday, as they had a feeling she would. But she did it anyway. Yes, I know I could have beaten her to the punchline and announced it myself. But I think she would have thrown a fit about it and ruined everything anyway. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. People are asking why I invited her. My parents did, and I considered uninviting her, but I knew if she wouldn't be allowed to come, she'd make her kids suffer too. And they love being around their cousins. I've mentioned in the comments that my parents are less inclined to confront her due to her manipulative ways of keeping her kids from visiting whenever they try to call her out. If she misses out, her kids suffer with her, and it may end up with CPS being called. Thanks to everyone commenting. I'm trying to reply to everyone, but I really appreciate it. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. Your sister pulled a dick move. She could have waited a day. Just plan your revenge. Sooner or later, an opportunity will open up for you to get your revenge. Like announce something major in her home the day she brings the child home. Not the a-hole. Your sister is childish, and her desperate attempts to upstage you on important events needs to be stopped by your parents. Not the a-hole. If it's bad enough where everyone already took notice and practically was waiting for it to happen, then it's not a coincidence or accident. She couldn't even bear to let you celebrate for 1 minute before stealing your thunder. Story 2. A group of 4 women at my office are unnecessarily rude to me. I really have no idea why. They were like that to me from the first day I started my job. Have been there for a year. I heard they are known to be extremely cliquish. One of the women is the assistant for my boss and purposely leaves me off emails for social functions. I asked a couple of trusted co-workers what her deal is with me, and they just shrug and think she's jealous since I'm younger than her and make more money. I really have no idea if that's the real reason though. Anyway, this group of women can all stand to lose 30 to 50 pounds each. They all started dieting together and would eat salads for lunch. I've been bringing in cookies, pastries, cheese platters, and putting it in our department kitchen. If any of those co-workers show signs of hesitation, I smile and say she's like, "Oh, just a little piece won't hurt." I'm no stranger to dieting. Weight fluctuates between 15 pounds. So I know just a tiny crack in willpower can create a flood of powerful cravings. I've only been doing this for 3 weeks, but I think it's working. Because I always see these women get a plate full of whatever food I bring. On the other hand, I am feeding the rest of my department, about 20 other people, indirectly, and everyone seems appreciative of my snacks. Edited to add, I'm not directly going to these women and persuading them to eat the snacks. I usually just talk to them about the snacks if I run into them in the kitchen, or if they follow me into the kitchen when they see me bring my snacks tray. I'm not the only one who brings food. We have salespeople come bring food every Friday, and other co-workers bring food every now and then. It's not like I'm the only one in my company who brings food to the office. I'm becoming a better cook out of all this and discovered the most amazing banana pudding cake recipe. This has nothing to do with my verdict, but thought it would be interesting to share. Now for some comments. You're the a-hole. Someone not being nice to you isn't grounds to try and ruin their attempts at being healthy. It is kind of a funny prank though, lol. But honestly, you could probably do other things to screw with them that would be a little less dickish. Ha ha ha, this is diabolical. Your intentions say you're the a-hole, but your actual actions have not the a-hole written all over them. Bringing in treats for the office. So even if you are the asshole, you're the only one who knows it. It's a tree falls in the forest. Not the a-hole. It does seem malicious and probably not very nice, but they're grown adults and them not having discipline or willpower isn't your fault. If they're that fragile with their diets that they can't be around certain foods, they're going to fail anyway. No one's stopping them from eating healthy or forcing them to eat poorly. Story 3. Some important background information is that I really don't like being touched. I used to cry and scream when I was a kid and strangers tried to touch me. I've gotten better with it as I've gotten older, but it still makes my skin crawl. It's also important to know that my natural hair color is a little unusual, and my hair is really long. I was at the grocery store standing in line when I feel someone tugging on my hair. I turn around and I see this lady holding on to the end of my hair in one and her phone in the other, trying to take a picture. She drops my hair and I instinctively take a step back. This obviously isn't word for word, but to my best recollection, this is the conversation we had. Me, what are you doing? Lady, your hair is so pretty. I wanted to take a picture to show my stylist so that she can dye my hair that color. You must let me take a picture. Me, I'm really not comfortable with that, and I'd really appreciate it if you didn't touch me again. Lady, you can't have hair like that and expect people not to touch it. It's just too pretty. Here, let me take a photo. At this point, the lady reaches out to grab my hair again, and I instinctively bat her hand away. She looks shocked for a second and then starts to get angry. Lady, how dare you hit me? I was just trying to take a photo to show my stylist. What's wrong with you? Now everyone is staring, and I'm starting to tear up, so I drop my basket and walk out of the store. I told my husband what happened when I got home, and though he agreed that the lady was being rude, He thinks I escalated things by batting her hand away. He thinks I should have just walked away. Am I the a-hole? Now for some comments. Who the ever-loving fudge thinks it's okay to grab a stranger's hair? Not the a-hole. Your body is not a plaything for the public. It's yours, and you get a say in who gets to touch it. You would have been well within your rights to tell the store that that woman was harassing you. Not the a-hole. Even for people who don't mind being touched, having a stranger grab your hair is weird and inappropriate. This lady needs to learn social skills. Not the a-hole. I'm sorry that happens to you. Strangers try to touch my tattoos all the time and then have the audacity to get offended when I ask them not to touch me. Like, no, please do not reach out and caress my face because there are tattoos there. Like, seriously, what the F? Don't touch strangers. Story 4. My friend invited my husband and me to a 40th birthday party for her husband. The party was going to be at a fairly upscale restaurant with dancing afterwards. We've been working on some remodeling projects, so we've been on a strict budget. My husband and I wanted to attend the party without breaking the bank, so we decided to share an appetizer, an entree, and only have one drink apiece. When we got to the party, we were ushered into a private party room. When we were seated, we were given pre-planned menus with several options for appetizers, entrees, and desserts. I asked a passing waiter if I could order a la carte instead of getting the pre-planned menu. The waiter indicated that the meal was being paid for by the hosts, and because we were part of the party, we needed to order from the pre-planned menu. My friend is a bit wealthier than we are and has always been really generous about their parties. But I was blown away that they would host 15 plus people at this restaurant. As the meal was ending, the main server approached my friend's husband with the check. My friend's husband seemed to be a little upset and said, "I know this isn't how you normally do things, but we are only paying for the wine. We told you that." I suddenly started panicking inside. I was trying to catch someone else's eye to see if they were panicking as much as I was. One other couple looked horrified, but everyone else seemed calm. I opened the check and the total was $211. I thought I was going to throw up. I have never spent that much on a meal. I held my shiz together because I didn't want to make a scene. The couple that looked horrified sidled over to us and we asked if they knew how much it was going to cost and that our friend wasn't paying. They said they had asked the waiter too, and he had indicated the hosts were paying. I ended up messaging her and said, "Thanks so much for inviting us to the party. We had a great time. Just a heads up for next time, we really need to know if going to a party is going to cost more than $100. We are on a really tight budget, so a heads up would be appreciated. Thanks again." My friend said, "Sorry, should have given you a heads up. Glad you came." And we haven't spoken or hung out since. I've tried to set up coffee dates and girls' nights, but she just bails or never responds. It's been almost 3 months, and she doesn't seem to want to talk to me at all. Edit. The price was $90 per person plus gratuity. Some of the other guests indicated that they had been told ahead of time that the price for a couple would be around $200. We were not told about the price ahead of time. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. Your friend has absolutely no reason to be mad at you. It's either her fault or the fault of the staff at the restaurant that people weren't correctly informed about what they'd be paying for. Either way, it's not on you. Plus, you weren't rude about this or anything. Not the a-hole. If you host a private party in a private room at a restaurant, you pay. If you invite guests to attend dinner with you to celebrate your spouse's birthday, you can't expect them to pay for themselves. It's all in the wording, but you need to make sure you clarify everything. It's also rude to have it at such a lavish location. What is wrong with a mid-level $20 a person restaurant? Not the a-hole. Springing a bill like that on people without a heads up is entirely uncalled for. and you confronted your friend about it gracefully and maturely. If she's upset at you, it's not your fault.